everyone, and welcome back to the part 2 of my vlog. I am up in my farm shop studio at the moment, but to be quite honest with you, it is another morning. I loaded the video up on YouTube and I just needed to get away from it and Instagram and all the messages, just so that I would have the courage and to keep it up. You feel insecure about showing your vulnerability and the authenticity that I really want people to understand about before or the past year. Today's a new day, the sun is shining, and I just feel really confident and okay about putting that out there and letting everybody know what's been going on. And now I can just move on to the new projects and excitement and knitting and making that I'm doing this year. It's not easy to cry or to be vulnerable, and I am an emotional person, and I do maybe wear my heart out on my sleeve, as they say, but I'm also a very strong person, and I'm a very determined person, and I don't let things get too deep or stay too long. And I know that sharing it out and making sure that it's behind me in a real concrete way will help me. So I'm up in my studio because, as I promised, I want to just, first of all, share some of my knitting, and I want to have a little conversation about a couple of projects that are going on, and then I'll make another vlog because I realize that I want to start just after I left Rhinebeck. I want to show you the knits from then until now, and there's a lot of them. So this can't be the only vlog. I want to keep it short and sweet so that people have time and they can, pop in, get something interesting out of what I'm sharing. So I shared my jumper with you, and I talked about how I tried to share some knitting tips and techniques on Instagram for those of you that might be new at knitting a yoke, or maybe you need a new technique, or you have problems with the under the arm issues when you're shifting your knitting from the splitting of the sleeves. But I think in the next yoke, which I'm soon to cast on, I'll share some of those techniques and tips here on the vlog. I'm not an expert by any means. I still have yet to finish my Norwegian kofta, and that's going to be another topic of conversation in an upcoming vlog. So when I fancy it, I'll just pop in and I'll just keep going, but in order of the makes that I did since Rhinebeck. So just to start off with, I have my notes here because I want to make sure that I am careful to get all of the information right when I'm talking, but also I'm going to put it up on the screen. So the first thing that I cast on, I was still in America. I was in the desert out in West Texas, which is a few hours from where I grew up. The first project that I cast on, well, I actually cast on before, but that I finished and worked on, was this shawl by Isabel Kramer. It's the Leica shawl. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it, but this is one of Isabel Kramer's designs, and I have knitted out of Starcraft Fiber, which is wild wool from Maine. I went right to the Starcraft booth. I went there first, and I got this beautiful wild wool from Maine. It's the first time I've ever knit with this beautiful wool. It's round, it has a beautiful sheen, it's lush, and although it's a worsted weight yarn, it has a beautiful sturdiness to it, but also a beautiful drape. I have been living in this shawl. I wake up at 5 in the morning. I have my house gown on, which is my Birkin wool dress. I have on tights. I have on wool socks. I wake up, I make my coffee, I check in a little bit to messages or emails, and then I wrap myself up into this shawl and I go up into the barn and I wake up the sheep. I do that every single morning. And not only that, when I've been taking them up into the forest, I've wrapped myself up in this beautiful shawl. I highly recommend this wool, and I'm just sad that I don't have any more of it to cast on another project. And I don't know that I'm going to have the opportunity to go back to Rhinebeck this year. So yeah, I know that she sells her wool online. She probably sells it in her daughter's shop there in Maine. If you just get in touch with Starcraft Fiber, I'm sure they can support you. Now, what did I learn from this shawl? First of all, I learned how to cable without a cable needle. And that was quite a little feat for me. Number one, I didn't have a cable needle with me I didn't pack one. I don't do cables very much. But this one actually convinced me that I want to do more cables, especially if I can accomplish it without a cable needle. It has a beautiful garter band. It's just garter. I haven't even woven in the ends yet. My sheep don't care. So I'm really bad lately. I just want to get my knits on me, and although with all of my mittens and everything, I do all the finishing, but just the garments lately I've just been throwing on. So I absolutely love this wool, and I highly recommend Isabel Kramer's patterns. They're stunning. So that was the first thing I finished in the desert, and then I just want to get up the information for the next make. And this was the Greyer shawl, another shawl by Isabel Kramer. This one's very simple. It's also garter. I went to visit Prado de Lana at Rhinebeck. I met the family that runs the farm, and they have the wool, and I just fell in love with their wool. Whereas this shawl is more of a worsted weight. It's quite heavy and warm. This one is more of a sport weight, and it's much lighter and has a lot of drape to it. And it's in the 3 natural colors. I'm really into that right now, just like my own sheep. These almost match the colors of my own sheep. This medium gray, though, is what is really different. So this is another Isabel Kramer shawl. It has the yarn over and the garter and the stripe pattern. Simple shawl, beautifully written pattern, and gorgeous, lush wool. The wool is what makes this shawl. I have been wearing this one around the farm a little bit. I haven't woven in the ends again, but I actually wore it into the city and just hid all of that within my coat. I absolutely love the Prada de Lana yarn. As soon as I possibly can, I'm going to order a sweater quantity that I can do some kind of jumper with. It's so hard in Norway when you have all of these customs fees and taxes for everything you order, so I have to be very mindful about what I'm going to order and what I can afford. But I really love this Prada de Lana shawl. So the third shawl that I finished while I was in the United States was the Waiting for Rain shawl. This farm is called Buckwheat Bridge, and their mill is totally run on solar power and wind power. And this is also a very lush yarn. It's round, it's soft. I want to make sure I get the right side out. But I decided to use this one for a little fancier shawl, the Waiting for Rain. It was an absolutely perfect combination between the yarn and the pattern. And if you haven't knit the Waiting for Rain shawl, I just highly recommend it. It's a pleasure to knit, it's fun to knit, it's clever, it's so clever. And I want to say that it is by Soft Sweater. That's the brand on Instagram. She has many beautiful shawls that I want to knit and that I have in my queue on Ravelry. So these 3 shawls, that's really what I purchased at Rhinebeck. Like I said, I have to be super frugal right now, and these 3 purchases, I was very mindful about my purchases. I wanted to support beautiful projects. I wanted to support family farms, And these 3 projects were really reflective of my trip there, and just all the things that I learned at Rhinebeck, and just the time together with my friends. There's so many memories that are knit up into these shawls. The only other thing that I really accomplished when I'm looking down after Rhinebeck was I knit a pair of socks for my son. I'll put a picture here of the finished socks. I finished my son's socks. I did everything I could to make sure that I got them in the post and that they would arrive before his birthday. But they arrived right on his birthday, his 18th birthday. And I have to say, that's another thing that I've been dealing with. I've never missed one of my children's birthdays. 18 is a big deal. And of course we FaceTimed, and the package arrived on time, and he was totally cool with it. But it's just me, isn't it? That's another thing that, you know, being in America and the situation that I was in, it prevented me from being there to celebrate with him. Anyway, we re-celebrated when I came home, and his socks arrived on his birthday, and he was just absolutely thrilled with them. My son loves hand knit socks. He got his first pair of mittens, which I'm going to show you. Not his first pair of mittens that I've ever knit him, but his first pair of mittens that he desperately wanted, and I'm going to share those with you in an upcoming vlog, because as I say, I'm going to move in order from Rhinebeck right up until today, until I get to today. He received his mittens and he absolutely loved them, and he was like, "Why don't you knit me more things?" So he is totally knit worthy. So the yarn that I used, he picked out from my local-ish yarn shop, Garn Boutique Fortuna, and he picked out another skein, which I've also finished and I'll show in an upcoming vlog. So those are the things that I have knit since Rhinebeck. One of the exciting things that has happened since I returned is that this book came out, and it's called Sokker fra tå og up. And it is a book. This is the 3rd book by this local Trønder designer. She's Norwegian, and when I say Trønder, that's my area of Norway. When I say the middle of Norway, I really should say Trøndelag, because that is where we are. Now, she lives quite a bit away from me, and I think it's north around Stjørdal in the airport, but I could be wrong. Marianne, this is her 3rd book. She has a book of hats, which is called Luer, and she has a book that is just stunning with scarves and accessories, and there's so many things in that book. My local library carries them, so I've checked them out there. This book was gifted to me because she contacted me. She said, I'm right in the middle of the book, and it would really be awesome if we could collaborate together. And of course, it was all of that conversation. And we did, and I'm telling you, when this book came in the post, of course, she shared all the pictures with me, and I've been so excited for her. And this is totally her book. It really is just like that much of me, but really to see your work in a book, you're holding the book, and maybe it's because I'm a bookworm and read constantly and love books, but to see your work inside a book is just incredible. The book is just full. I mean, here's the page where I provided her lots of my accessories. I want to be really careful not to show anything that I shouldn't show, but the book is just full of photographs of my sock blockers, because this is a sock book, and beautiful sock patterns. I'm so ashamed that I'm not a better sock knitter, or that I don't get in, that I just haven't caught the bug yet. I've got to work on that. It's got to be a goal. She has just excellent sock patterns. I mean, she's got patterns in here for everybody's style, from like cool kids to, you know, if you like it a bit fancier with lace. I mean, look at this photo. I mean, what kid would not want these cool rock and roll socks? Here's the photo of the, I mean, that's just so cool. So this book is full of pictures of socks in many different situations, and she has used my work within the book. This is Marion, and this is one of her famous shawl patterns. I think it's called the leaf shawl. This was an incredible thrill for me, and also that I was gifted the book. You see here, you can find her. I'm going to put it on the screen because it won't focus, but I'll put how you can find her on Instagram. She has many English patterns. I was so surprised because I really didn't know that her patterns were also in English. Of course, the book patterns are not there. You have to buy the book. But she has many of her designs there in English and in Norwegian. So that was my exciting news. I do have some beautiful designs in my farm shop. I'm not going to go through my designs. You can take a look in my farm shop if you're interested. I'll talk about my kofta designs when I show you the kofta book and the kofta that I'm trying to knit. But it was so cool. I went to the city this week and I had my brooch on, and I got asked twice, "Oh, where did you get that?" And I got to tell my story that I made it. So yeah, it was fun to have it on my jean jacket. Once I was in the restroom or toilet, we say here, washing my hands, and someone noticed it in the mirror. And then the other time I was in the yarn shop, I was in Husfliden, and this lady asked me about my designs. And of course Husfliden carries my designs. Not all of them, but they carry the traditional ones. I have a lot of whips going on as well, and I'm going to save that to the next vlog. I just want to thank you if you're tuning in, if you're new. Yeah, I really appreciate you being here. My vlog is very small. It's only a small audience maybe that's interested in the stories from this part of Norway, but those of you that are here really enrich my life. The connections that we share, just your messages about the knitting bag book. People ask me, are you still doing your knitting bag book? Every single day. I check in with myself. I never start knitting until I reflect in my knitting bag book. And this year I've been writing ideas, I've been sketching, I've been writing down all the quotes that really inspire me. I'm still crossing off my list of worries. I'm using my knitting bag book for all of that. So just because you don't see my knitting bag book all the time, I'm using it every day. If you have any questions, just contact me. If you want to get started with it, contact me. I'll be talking a lot more about the knitting bag book in my upcoming vlogs. Again, I'm just starting. I'm just getting going. That's where I'm at with that. Right now, I'm preparing a retreat for some international visitors to Norway. Many of them you will know. I won't list them here. I'll possibly talk about that in the next vlog. I'm also hosting a tea party for local knitters. So if you're interested in the tea party to collaborate, connect, fellowship with these international guests, all of the guests are listed on my website. The information about the tea party. I'm going to a meeting tomorrow to finalize the last little bits of the retreat, and that has been months of work. That retreat is going to help me to offer retreats in the future. So I am going to be hosting possibly a spring retreat here in Norway. I'll possibly be hosting retreats before and after the knitting festival that's coming up in the middle of Norway here in Trøndelag, Midt-Norsk Kultur og Strikke Festival. So all of that is coming up, and I'll be sharing it on my vlog. I have so many things sitting around me that I want to share with you. I said I was going to talk about my natural dyeing, and I will do that also in upcoming vlogs. I'm preparing everything to get ready for natural dyeing in the spring. And one of the things that I've been doing is I have been making cloth napkins and tea towels. We've totally wiped out paper towels within our home. And I have prepared this fabric with my first soy milk. So this fabric, it's an organic linen. I can actually trace where it was milled and where it was woven, and I have finished the process of the soy milk. I'm going to be naturally dyeing this and making cloth napkins. I might even offer some of them in my farm shop for those of you that don't sew, or you're not interested in sewing but you want a natural product. But before I went to America, I got my birthday present, which was a brand new sewing machine, and I have been perfecting a lot of my sewing skills about an hour or so in the afternoon. And I made some beautiful napkins. I'll put that picture right here. I actually made the cloth napkins for Christmas, and we used them for our Christmas dinner and our New Year's dinner. We had this discussion around how very nice it was to use them, and then we just started taking away any kind of paper napkins or paper towel. Now I'm just sewing a lot in this linen that we've been using, and I've been washing when I get a stack of them, but I want some other colors for other times of the year. I have prepared this cloth with soy milk, and if you're interested, I'll share how I did that. Those are the things that I'm working on right now. I'm going to save the rest for the next vlog. I might record it tomorrow, and I might record it on Saturday. But it feels really nice to be back. It feels nice to interact and to chat with you and to receive your messages. I really thank you for your support of my work here on the farm and what I'm trying to accomplish. I'm going to put a short video of the sheep coming out of the barn in the morning that hopefully in the coming vlogs I'll be able to sit down on the bucket, record together with them, and let you see them and who they are and have a good look at their fleece. But until next time, I wish you wonderful hours to yourself creating and making, and take care of yourself, get your knitting bag book going, and we'll talk very soon again.